and welcome back to another segment of the Triton Talk. I'm your host, Ella Coiner, and I'm here with men's basketball senior Roque Rosario. And are you ready to answer some questions today?
Totally.
Okay. So I was told that you have a family crest. Can you tell more about your family and how you got that crest and what it's about?
Yeah, so the family crest, I actually have it here on my finger. Don't know if you can see that. Again, influencing tips. I think this is how it's supposed to be. Hold it like this, right? It's from my English side of the family. Funny enough, I actually didn't know I had this till recently. My grandfather over there didn't really know his like father very well, and that extended side of the family. And it wasn't until I actually started dating Charlie, where for my birthday she did a genealogy test and went back to find sort of the English side of it, and found that this was actually my family crest. That's supposed to get passed down from every male, but my grandfather didn't know the dad. So found it, got it put on this ring for me. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I really think it's cool, and it's definitely something I'm going to be passing down to my kids afterwards. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And along with that, what's like your favorite family tradition?
My favorite family tradition is when a member of our family becomes of age, in England that is, in England, to drink, we go to a pub called the Royal Standard. It's over there in England. It's the oldest free house pub in England, which means it's the oldest pub that isn't like owned by a brewing company. So it's the oldest there. It's one of the oldest just pubs in general in England. But yeah, we go there when they turn of age, have a pint of whatever beer they want, sit and yap, and that's about it.
How many times do you go a year to England?
Well, before becoming a student athlete, before even becoming a student, I realistically would go like once or twice a year. Just any chance we got, just to make sure we saw the family there, stayed in touch with everyone. So.
Oh, nice. And you're also involved with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Can you tell me why you decided to join and what interest it took?
Yeah, of course. The SAC, as you will. It's pretty cool. I got a call from my coach about 2 years ago, just saying, we had seniors leaving that were on it. They needed someone to kind of take up the mantle for the men's basketball team and helping make decisions for the student athletes on campus. One of the big things for me was I felt, and this is nothing against the people that did it before, I felt there's a bit of lack of respect for it in terms of people thinking it was, just a joke, just something to waste time. And I wanted to kind of bring a new approach, at least from the men's basketball, not all sports, to kind of show the importance of it, the importance of the decisions on campus that need to be made for athletes. And that's pretty much why I did it.
As a part of SAC, you're also on the food committee. Can you talk more about that and the interest in it? Yeah,
the food committee, I am on the committee and the only one on the committee. It was made because of me, because obviously, big guy. I'm a big food guy. But the food committee really, when I got here, when we started doing the SAC, there was a bit of lack of attention to the dietary needs needed for athletes, especially when you have practices at 6 in the morning, and then you get off of practice at 9 p.m. at night, depending on our options being, when I started only the pub and the caf, we have the fusion box now, things like that. So the food committee for me was just trying to make sure athletes were heard on what they need to eat. They try to help us the most they can about academics and getting classes we need. But when you have a 6 a.m. workout, you need something before you go there. And then afterwards, you need something to eat, and proper food to eat, not fried things, and etc. So yeah, food committee was just to try to get athletes fueled better for performance. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mostly coming from an athlete. But what's been your favorite experience with SAC and the food committee?
Favorite experience with SAC and my run and gun food committee is probably just seeing how really interested the athletes are in making kind of a better stance at school. Seeing things that we vote for, things that we advocate for actually happen. You've seen things, I don't know if you've experienced this, the fuel station with Sarah, getting things before practice just to fuel yourself. Seeing things like that actually happen to athletes benefiting from decisions we make is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you're also from the Tampa Bay area,
yes,
as well as me. Can you talk about your experience, how going to school so close to home?
Yeah, I'm sure with being close, it's nice to be able to go home when you need that break.
Yeah.
It made transitioning to college really easy because I didn't feel like I'm miles away from home. But it also came with a lot of discipline. Being home, it's really easy to go home every single weekend, go home even days you have classes, things like that. So it was a different dilemma for me when, I could just go home whenever I wanted to. So, and it was something I had to learn to buckle down if I had a project or assignment or something of that nature, to stay tuned on that. And she's gonna hate me if I don't say it, but Charlize Whitholz definitely was a big part of that and beat me into that, and same with Coach Gillespie, so that was really good.
Yeah. And now to get into some serious stuff. You had brain surgery your junior year of high school. What happened? Like, what was it for? And can you tell me your experience before and after that?
Yeah, of course. I got brain surgery for something that's called a Chiari malformation. It's pretty common among most people, just in different variations, especially it being more severe if you're an athlete, someone who's involved in a lot of activity. Mine wasn't too severe, but because I was an athlete, it really hindered my performances. So kind of before leading up to it, I felt like I was out of shape. I was a big kid, so I thought maybe I was. But you always get this feeling of fatigue. You feel like you can't function, and a lot of that has to do with the Chiari malformation. Stops the blood from going to your brain. So for the most part of it, I just thought I was out of shape until I started getting really serious into basketball, and summer conditions in Florida, conditioning outside and things like that really showed that I might not be out of shape. I might have something wrong, blacking out during conditioning, just falling, which led to me getting checked, and of course they found in the scans that I had a Chiari malformation. So I had to get surgery. They just went in there, filed some bone away, made some room for the extra brain. I like to say my brain's bigger than most people. But yeah, just to make room for it. So yeah, that was the surgery in itself, and afterwards I haven't had any issues.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And finally, what's your favorite thing about Eckerd?
Favorite thing about Eckerd? I feel like everyone says the people, and that's a fair thing to say. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out some of the professors though, and staff in a whole. Of course, the student body itself is absolutely amazing, really tight-knit group. But the professors are really forgiving and flexible. I don't feel like you get that in a lot of bigger universities. You don't get a lot of one-on-one time with professors if you need it. If you email a professor, they might not email you back for a week, but here it's pretty instant. I think that's pretty amazing to get at a college. Get any help you need whenever you need it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
And thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next time.